Well, we'll get you introduced, man. We have today Codey Williams. He has been a friend of ours for a long time. Another person in the Oklahoma City fitness community, owner of Trinity Strength Gym with Marcus. And is there another partner still involved?
We actually have a partner in Tulsa, but it's really me and Marcus.
That run the. I mean, you guys are the ones there every single day.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
M1 training, which you guys do together, as well as is it reflexive therapy?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
As well as the tempering. Man, the amount of things that you guys, especially you, have your hands in.
Yeah.
I feel like every time I stop by Trinity, which I don't get to as much as I used to, you would have something new that you'd be telling me about that you've learned, and it's this crazy neurological thing that hey, I'm going to press on your stomach here, and then you're going to be able to like run 5 miles an hour faster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how it goes, though. But I mean, every time I've ever seen you guys or done stuff like that, like it's always been really cool and like genuinely really helpful too on like just like muscle related. Like I remember doing one thing with you guys where it was just like the order that I believe it was like the order that my muscles were firing for like certain things. And it's like, oh, we got to reset that. You know, it's like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, so I can kind of dive into all this crazy stuff. Like, really, where it all started is Marcus is really into like all the recovery stuff. He was beat up, you know, and so we were kind of looking for different things to get him moving and feeling better, you know. And at the time, I'd probably been training clients for about a year or so, and I had also. You know, it's inevitable that people are going to get naggy injuries or be hurt or whatever. And I just wanted to know like how I could work around these things or actually work on them rather than trying to always have to work around them, you know? Right. And so, anyway, but also in the course of like trying to get him better, we were looking into these different methods, and body tempering was actually invented by powerlifter Donnie Thompson. And so, being that was kind of my realm, I'd already seen that. I was like, well, that's something I could probably get my head around. So I started looking into it. Sure enough, there was a certification course like a couple months away. So we bought a couple of the tools. And if you've been in Trinity and like in our lounge room, there's like some kegs in there they're like for lifting, right? Well,
not for parties.
Yeah. So when we first got started, we were like, let's just roll each other with those things. So we literally just laid on the ground and just like brutally murdered each other with those things. And oh man, those days were like crazy. Like everything we do within like, the therapy world, like we always spent a lot of time like doing it to each other. So we know like how these things feel, and like, so you're going to know like the sensitive areas on people and how it feels. And so anyway, kind of got started with that. We sure enough, we got certified in the body tempering.
Yeah. How would you describe tempering as opposed to like, I guess like
deep tissue massage or something.
Compared to like a deep tissue massage.
So, I mean, it's basically just like these weighted rollers. They're made out of steel. It's like foam rolling, but we're doing it to you with steel. And
you're not using body weight. You're doing it the opposite.
Sometimes the foam roller foam you.
So these can vary in all kinds of weights. Like, we have some smaller bars that are more, that you can use like the end of it to like trigger point stuff, or we can roll like smaller thing, like arms or whatever. But then the bigger rollers, they usually start at like 50 pounds and then they go all the way up. Like we have a roller that you can actually load weights into, and it'll go up to 300 pounds.
Holy, I don't think I knew that. I knew they were heavy. I didn't know if they were
it'll go that heavy. So, and we found the limits of all that stuff. So we got into that. And, but when you get certified in body tempering, it's not like, they teach you how to do it safely. They don't really teach you like if somebody comes in with a back issue, like what do you do? You know, it's like they just teach you how to roll the back, how to roll the hamstring or whatever, you know, it's like basic things. And so then from there, it's on you to kind of like figure out how do you make this into something.
That's kind of cool because it's still fairly new. Like, hey, here's just not how to mess somebody up. Now, you get to figure it out.
And so there's kind of this cool thing within the body tempering that everybody just kind of went out and like made their own thing from it. And so like I said, at first it was just kind of like something internally for us, but it became this whole other business that like people are coming in from. I mean, we work on a lot of people out of our gym, but predominantly we get people from all over. Like most of my clients are not even members of our gym that just come in and work with me.
Anytime I've ever been in the gym, it seems like people are coming and going like just for tempering.
Yeah. So yeah, we started doing that. We started figuring out ways of like how to like address, like the more we did it, we just started figuring out how to address these issues people were having. And so it became this big thing. And so it just kept growing. And so then I was like, it's kind of funny because I was like the last person to do mobility work or like be this person. And like Marcus was all about it. And like every time we trained, it was like an hour of warming up and I hated every second of it. But now I'm that guy. And so
I didn't know that was like that had been developed at that point in time. I've only known you as really big on recovery. So that's interesting to hear.
Yeah, no, that was not my game at all. I hated it. And but I quickly I saw what it could do for people, and that became really rewarding, like really helping people. And so I really got a passion for that. And so kind of fast forward a year or so, they were putting together this body tempering summit down in Dallas. So the idea is like I was explaining, they don't really teach you methods, but there's all these people that went out and did this cool stuff with it. And so now they're like, let's build another layer to show people how do you do these things outside of it? And so they asked me to be a speaker at this event. And
that's really cool.
Yeah, there was like 6 of us and I'd never done anything like that, but I did it anyway because I knew I needed to. And to grow, personally, I was pretty shy. So it was cool to step out and do that. Yeah. But anyway, we went down there and there was this guy that was doing, so he was actually from Dallas. And this is where the clinic was. And so he was utilizing body tempering along with the neuro stuff. And because he was from there, he actually brought some of his patients in, but first he was doing this really weird stuff like some of the muscle testing. I know you've gotten to experience, or you guys both experienced it, but it's weird, right?
Yeah,
it's just like but what he was doing was it's actually, now it's kind of like a party trick really when you know it, but it actually is a cool thing that explains the theory of behind Be Activated, but it's a mind and body assessment basically. So it shows how connected the mind and body are. And so that's one of the first thing that you learn when you do Be Activated is basically you do basically I'd have you put your arms up. I'd stand behind you. I'd test your arms. You should be able to relatively hold it fairly strong. And then we give you some type of stimulus. So I'd have you think of like someone that like stresses you out.
Yeah.
And you would really get that person in your mind, and then I would muscle test you again. And no matter how hard you try, like you cannot hold your arms up. And then I'd have you think of someone who inspires you. And then if you get that person really vividly in your mind, you'll be even stronger than your baseline test.
Whoa.
And so it's really weird. And that's what that guy was doing. He picked this big, strong guy out of the crowd. And like, I was like, what is this stuff? It was just so weird. I'd never seen anything like that.
Is this guy a plant?
Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. And that was only just the start of it, but it just really like everything this guy was talking about was like stuff I'd never heard before. And I had done several like courses between the body tempering and this, just trying to like find the next cool thing. And there was nothing that was just like crazy to me, but until this, and it was just like, what is this stuff? And then this guy brings his patients in. And so this guy, he was in a wheelchair and he was stuck like in the 90-degree bent position. And like even laying on the table, like his nervous system was so locked up, like he actually had to wedge some pillows under him because his system was so guarded.
Jeez.
And so he was utilizing this body tempering, but also these Be Activated. And the guy was able to relax and like lay flat after 30 minutes or so. And this wasn't like a miracle, like one time. Like these are people that all the people they work with are spinal cord injuries. They work with very serious stuff. And so this is a patient that he's been working with for like a year.
Right.
So it wasn't like magical one-time thing. But anyway, using these methods, they got here. And so he was able to relax him. The guy laid flat. This guy was a quadriplegic. He helps him to the side of the table. The guy stood up. I was like, what?
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
I could not
crazy.
believe like this. So I was already mind blown, and then I was like double
Right.
mind blown. I was like, what is this? So then he started talking about this guy, Douglas Heel, which is the guy who created Be Activated. He started explaining the system and how like it's such a different mindset of how do you view the body. And so what happened was right after that, I started looking into this stuff. Well, Douglas is actually from South Africa. So you can't get certified in this method unless like it's only in person with Douglas. At the time, I wasn't going to go to South Africa. So I started looking into it some more. And there's another method called RPR. And RPR basically was a guy who went over, got certified. He was actually from Westside Barbell, if you guys are familiar with like the powerlifting. So he's actually one of the Westside Barbell guys, JL. And so he went over, got certified. He was blown away with it. And he was working at like the collegiate level with like tons of athletes. So he kind of went to Douglas. He's like, man, I really want to utilize this method, but like, how do I get thousands of athletes within a week to do this, you know? And so basically they stripped the bare bones of it. Like, how do we just like hit these activation points and like get people a result really quick? And so they came up with RPR. So RPR is actually supposed to be more like the self-applied version. And so basically it's just these series of activation points. It's a very simplistic view of this system. And so that one you could actually get certified online. So like I was certified in like 10 minutes. I was like on it. I did it. I was like the next day Marcus got to the gym. I was like, I got something to try for you. So, and anyway, I still remember like at that time, I remember like he always was having these issues of like feeling like unbalanced. And like, if you ever seen it, like he was always like wiggling around, like he couldn't ever sit still. It's because he couldn't feel like even. So he was always like, just like trying to sit right.
Marcus was?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so anyway, he like, after I worked on him, like, and I did it, he like was driving home. He's like, dude, I sat straight the whole time. I couldn't believe, like, he's like, this is the first time I've ever felt that.
Whoa.
And so the RPR, there was 3 levels of RPR. So I instantly like went ahead and did the level 2 where that started. The first one was just real like activation points, just like very basic. Level 2 taught you how to do the testing and identify some things some more. Level 3, that one was actually in person, and me and Marcus it was in Detroit. And so we went and did that. And I remember we got the email like the night before of like what was going to be the manual or whatever. And we were like, dude, we were in over our head. Like it was crazy. It was like talking about all this weird stuff. And like just in the manual, it was talking about like utilizing, like you would touch one point of the body and that was like your battery. And then you would actually use your body to conduct energy to like another point of the body. It was really weird. And so we're just like, read this stuff. We were like, what is this?
Yeah, right.
And then we show up and it's like these doctors and like all these people, like there was like 10 people in the class, but they were all like PTs and doctors and we're just like a couple gym bros. And so,
hey guys.
it was pretty crazy. And so, anyway, we learned that and, it was really cool. But anyway, so we had done this RPR and we started implementing it into our sessions and we were having great results and everybody was loving it. And so the guy who I saw originally in Dallas do this work, like we had followed each other on Instagram and they had seen we had been talking about all this stuff. And so they reach out, they're like, hey, we got Douglas coming here in like 2 weeks. You guys got to come. And I started looking into it and the course was like a few $1,000s. So we were like, yeah, I mean, we're kind of like already doing it. Like, is it really that different? And they're like, it's different. Like you got to do this. So we were kind of on the fence. We were like, let's just do it. So we ended up doing it and it's not at all the same thing at all. And so it's the same idea, like the general concept, but Be Activated goes like 1,000,000 times deeper. There's a whole connection in all like aspects. And so to kind of like start from the beginning, like one of the other like early on things that you learn within Be Activated And this stuff is all crazy, man. Like it's really have to like shift your mind of how you view the body, because it's almost so unbelievable that you like it doesn't make sense.
There's like there's like a bunch of crazy stuff that even I was listening to an interview with Lane Johnson.
He actually came to the gym one time, and I did some body tempering on him. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Lane, arguably the best right tackle of all time, plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds. But he was talking about because he had torn his groin in the 2022 season, and that was a year that the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl. I want to say it was 22. Anyway, he played like, I think it was like 5 games, including the Super Bowl, with double torn groin, like both sides of his groin. He only knew about one. He didn't even know the other side was torn.
Yeah.
And the thing that he talks about, and just I'm reminded of this when you talk about just like mind muscle connection and how like different it is they were talking about it on the interview. They were like, on the podcast, they were like, what was that even like? And he was like, honestly, it wasn't that bad. He's like, as soon as like compensation happened and all of the other muscles just took over the job, he didn't explain this far, but essentially what he was alluding to is like, once all the other muscles took over for the groin, he was like, it was fine. It really didn't even hurt. Like, it was really not that bad at all. And you're just like, holy shit. What do you mean? Like, you know, you think about that and you're like, okay, that makes sense. But it's just like, oh yeah, that happens to a point where a dude can play right tackle in multiple NFL games with just like, oh yeah, we'll just turn that muscle off. We'll just use the other things. And then you're like, well, shit, if that's a thing, then like, how many compensation things do I have that aren't even from injuries, but just from training or like how I learned to run or whatever? Like,
deactivated muscles.
So that's really the whole, like, what the idea of this system is that it identifies that. And it is weird, like how someone could come in, they could tell me all the issues that they have. And it's funny because they come in because their knee hurts or whatever. Right. And then they're sitting there and they're telling me all the things. I'm like, okay, is that everything? Like, tell me the whole history. Like, what has happened to you? And then they forget to tell me that they've had all these arm and shoulder issues because they're worried about their knee. Right. But they think that it's like totally unrelated. But if they give you the everything, you can literally connect their whole story with a matter of like, I could test you in 5 minutes and I could tell you your whole life's injuries and why that they happen because of this system. And so the way this Be Activated views the body basically is like your core area essentially. So your diaphragm, your psoas, and your glutes, that's your zone 1. So your psoas, that's your hip flexor. Glutes are the primary extender of the body. And then from there you go to your zone 2, which would be your quads, your hamstrings, your abs, your low back. And then zone 3 would be your tibialis, calf. And then upper body would be like arms, shoulders, neck, and jaw. And so that's kind of a simplified view, but it could get really complex and complicated within that. But optimally, we want the body to fire in a 1, 2, 3 sequence, which makes sense. Like, it's kind of what you've always heard, like fire from your core first, like drive from your core first. But anyway, what happens is, if the psoas isn't firing correctly, then the body's going to find a way to compensate around it because. So you were talking about the compensations and how amazing it is. And that actually is the whole point, is the body is actually really amazing. And these bad things they're actually survival tools. And it's actually really amazing how the body can do these things. The problem is when we're chronically locked into these patterns. And then, so we need to know why we're there. And so what happens is we go to assess their hip flexion. And so the body has two goals. It wants to move and it wants to breathe. So if you got to be able to move to survive, like there's like a primal need, like you got to be able to move and then you got to breathe to live. And so those two actions are like primary goal number 1. Nervous system is just keep the body alive, keep those things happening. So all the other stuff, it doesn't really matter. So it can sacrifice other things because those are the primary objective. Right. So if psoas isn't firing correctly, then it's going to look to other structures. So now it's going to go to zone 2, the quads and the abs, the low back, hamstrings. So if it might find stability there. So some people have patterns within those. Some people, it goes down further to the tibialis and calf. Some it goes out to the arm and the neck and the jaw. And it seems weird how your jaw or your arm could actually drive your hip function. But what happens is, as the body finds these other structures, it actually like neurologically rewires your like origin and insertions. So like instead of it being your quad, now this is flips and it's like this is your hip flexor now. This is no longer your quad. But your quad's also still
like
trying.
Lane Johnson didn't have a groin, so his body made him a groin.
Yes, exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so it can find that within all these structures, and it can be multiple things. And so these become your hip flexor. It doesn't matter, like your leg, it doesn't matter. We need hip flexion. That's going to keep you moving. And so what happens, the problem is your body's trying to do both those things still. It's like, hey, I still do need a quad, but I need a hip flexor first. And so then what happens, like for instance, like if you guys follow the NBA and just all these like Achilles tears and everything. Crazy. So like this is like primarily what Douglas talks about within his system are non-contact injuries, because of what happens is in a split second that Halliburton, he was probably what we call a 3-3-3 leg. So that means that his tibialis was driving his hip function. So
that's crazy.
If you see the position he was in when he's like very like he's in a very flat angle, like trying to drive. So his calf is in tibialis. They're trying to do hip flexion, hip extension primarily, but then in that moment he also needed extension in the calf, and it's always going to protect the hip before it'll protect the extremities. So in that moment, that's at a max tension in the nervous system, and that's primarily what's driving that. And there's nothing to stabilize down here anymore because it's stabilizing the hip, and you lose that. That something has to give because of all the pressure, and that's where it gives, because that's where you're primarily driving from. Yeah. And so wherever your primary site of injury is where you typically will see most of the issues. However, some of the different patterns have some other things that happen to them. So the other thing with a 3-3-3 leg is they're actually unstable in their opposite shoulder, because what happens is so like for instance, I'm a 3-3-3 leg on this side. So what that means is my abs, they have to stabilize. They have to get really tight and lock down my pelvis, because there's no other structure that is the distance of the psoas. So it takes stuff on both sides. So the abs actually have to lock down the pelvis. The quads, the tibialis come in to be the hip flexor. But because it's such a long lever down here and a shorter lever here, this has got to get really, really, really tight to match that pressure. And so then it kind of like draws you in. It leaves this shoulder like out to dry, basically. And so now the shoulder becomes unstable, and then you're also susceptible to shoulder injuries and things like that. But you're going to see a lot of injuries around the ankle and the calf and things like that.
That kind of makes sense in the sense of it's just like, you know, this guy kind of helps here and here. If I got to go help this guy, sorry, dude, I can't help you anymore. And so now it doesn't have that backup anymore kind of thing. Exactly.
So once one thing deviates, everything kind of has to change around it. And so we're really all just like these walking compensations. And so what you can have is that's
what I call Kevin.
So you can have these bilateral, so you can be the same on both sides, or you can be different. So again, just reference me since I know what mine are. I'm a 3-3-3 leg on this hip, and I'm a 3-3-3 jaw on this hip. So to put the numbers back into perspective, the 1-2-3 sequence. The reason I'm calling these 3-3-3 is because it's driving all three zones. Wow. So not a 1-2-3. I'm a 3-3-3. That's doing the job of each section. And so anyway, whenever you cross the hip, the upper body is opposite. So if it's for this leg, it's actually this jaw. And so what's crazy is whenever I learned this system and how it influences the body, it was so crazy to me, because I've always felt like I've been twisted in my back, and I felt like I've been like, so when I was going to college at UCO, I did a DEXA scan like in one of my classes, and I had some curvature in my spine, and I thought that was kind of crazy. I'd never like known that I had this curvature there. And so I didn't like really think much about it. I was like, that is kind of weird. Maybe my back was just out of whack that day. And then I took another class like a year later, and it was like another DEXA scan like on my lower back. And sure enough, I had the same curvature. And I've always like same kind of thing, like how Marcus, like I was talking about, like always kind of feel like rotated and uneven. And so like, if you catch me standing, like without me thinking about it, like my feet are always going to be shifted. Like one will always be back and I'm always like rotated this way. So like my feet are like this and I'm like this. And so like, anyway, whenever I learned this method and like what was happening within my body, it started to make sense. And so I'm a 3-3-3 leg on this side. So this is really locking down here, but then this jaw is trying to come here. So then there's this pressure here. So there's both of these kind of meet right here. Well, that's where the curvature in my spine is. And so I was like really intrigued by the fact, because Douglas was talking about how like things have to get out of the way. And so the reason why we have torquing and twisting in our bones is because these mismatched patterns. And so I was just curious after I went and got an x-ray on my back, just because I wanted to see if it lined up. And sure enough, like it curves that way, like where the pressure is driving it. And so it was just really interesting to see that actually lined up. But you don't really think about, like you think about your tight muscles, but you don't really think about the things that are in the way. And so you also have like all your organs. So like your organs are also being crushed by these patterns too. So then you're susceptible to these, you know, injury or disease, and because you can't get good blood flow. And so a really crazy thing, a couple of years ago, I was getting ready for Worlds. It was the first time I'd ever made it to Worlds. And I had just done nationals, which is also my first time doing nationals. So it was a super stressful time for me. And I woke up one day and like, have you ever like woke up where you had like your hair like swirly or whatever, you know, it's kind of like sensitive. I had like this like sensitive pain like that in my hair. So I got in the shower, you know, you like wash it out. Normally you feel fine. It was like still kind of there. This was on a Monday. And so I was like, man, that's kind of weird. And so like it went the whole week and it like progressively got like more intense. And I started kind of getting this like rash. And anyway, one of my clients, she's a PA, and I had her look at it. And she was like, I think you got shingles. And I was like, shingles? Like, I didn't even, like, I'd heard that, like, old people have
brutal.
I'd heard, like, old people have that, but I didn't even really know what it was. And at that point, like, the throbbing had gotten pretty intense. So I was like, I'll probably go get this checked out. So, and sure enough, I had shingles. Well, oddly enough, my shingles was right on this side and on down my face. Well, this is the side of my jaw compensation pattern. Well, we've actually done this Be-Activated course 3 times now, like not to even learn the method, but just literally to hear Douglas talk and how he explains this stuff is just like, no matter how much I tell you guys about this stuff, like it's truly like an experience. Like you got to go and do it and like learn it for yourself, because like it's insane the stuff that happens within this. It's a 4-day course, but anyway, so we went. We've been 3 times now. So the second time was when that had happened, and so I'd asked him about it, and that's what he had told me, that because this is so locked down, it's not just your jaw, it's your jaw and all the musculature of your head and your neck. It's so locked down, you can't get lymphatic flow out, you can't get blood flow to these areas, so you're susceptible to disease and issues.
That makes sense.
And being, you know, powerlifting, like I put all this pressure and strain and everything, and so it's like it's constantly being like, so you're running these patterns, but then you're actually loading them at a max capacity too. So it's like really strained. And so that was why I got shingles in that area, because I was already susceptible to it. And so anyway, with this method, so that's the view of the body, the 1, 2, 3 sequence. But then on a deeper level, so one of the other things that you learn like towards the beginning of this is Douglas calls it the staircase. So what happens whenever we do this work, Douglas basically has found this way that whenever you do it in this sequence, the nervous system like really likes it. And so what happens is, so like you have your parasympathetic nervous system and your sympathetic. So like your rest and digest, your and your fight or flight, right? And so naturally through life, we kind of like move up and down this chart of like going in and out of those things. And you may not like think you're like stressed, but like the everyday ins and outs of life, like we go up and down that chart, just like being in traffic or like doing these things, just living daily life and in a busy world. And so naturally we're going to go up and down that sequence. But eventually something happens. It could be like something really traumatic, or maybe just again, like those busy life. Like, so we're going up and down this chart, but eventually we only come down a little bit and then we come back up because the next thing happened. And then the next thing happens, and eventually, so instead of coming way back down here, you're stuck here. So your nervous system just bouncing back and forth between this point because the next thing just keeps happening. And eventually, so your nervous system's always just checking in where you're at, from where you were to where you are now, like just trying to survive, like how are things doing? So as it's checking in, eventually this has just happened so long, it thinks that that's the that's the bottom.
Right, that's your your range.
So this becomes your new baseline. And so what happens is you have such a little capacity in your nervous system to deal with things like life. Right. And so there's people that have like really short fuses, like the littlest thing triggers you. And it's because you just have no capacity within your nervous system. And so with this work, as we do this, the nervous system can start to come down and you can start to open up a little capacity. And so now you have maybe a little less pain and you're opened up, and now your body's not so compressed. So we were in this, you're literally, your body's imploded. So as we start to open up, the body's starting to open up, but also the nervous system is starting to open up. So now you're moving better. You're in an expanded state, but your nervous system is also expanded. So you can also handle more that comes at you, right? And so that's kind of the view of the nervous system and how it works. And over time, we can start to open up more and more. And I don't know that we'll ever get like all the way back to where we were, we were born with, but you can have more. Yeah. And so then another view of this. So that's a view of the nervous system. The nervous system's fighting for space as it's compressed, but then the body's also compressed, right? And then Douglas has a view of the body and how we operate in the world as well, a social view of this whole concept as well. So the zone 1 represents you, and then the zone 2 represents your friends and family, and then the zone 3 represents the rest of the world. And so we also tend to operate within our pattern. So if you're 3 through 3, you tend to operate in like a zone 3 pattern socially as well. You tend to operate where you do more for other people, and then your portion gets crushed. And so like an example, so, like the mind and body thing that I was talking about earlier, and how like just how quickly, so what the point of that is that you can show how quickly your physiology is dictated by your nervous system. Yeah. Right. So just by thinking of someone, you gave them power over you to make you completely weak, right? It actually changed your physiology and how you operate, right? So an example socially, so like say you go to the gas station, you open the door for somebody, they just walk in and they don't say thank you, and like kind of pisses you off. But what you're doing is you're actually operating in a mindset that you did it for them, not doing it for you. So you actually are outwardly, so you did it for that 333, which had a negative effect and it crushed you a little bit. And so it had a negative effect on your nervous system, which in turn negatively impacts your physiology. Whereas if you open the door and you just did it because you want to be a good person, and they walk in and they don't say thank you, then it doesn't have that impact on you. And so then it's whatever. And so you operate from that zone. You operate. So it's almost kind of like selfish, but you think about you. If you take care of you, you can take care of more of other. You have more of yourself to give to other people, versus if you're always doing that, then you're so like you have nothing to give because you're.
The put your own oxygen mask on first analogy.
Exactly. Yeah.
It sounds very similar to like the 80-20 rule in life. Are you guys familiar with that one at all? I know it's got a more particular name, but maybe. But it's like it's applied in a number of different ways of like specifically probably more within business is 80% of your results is dependent on 20% of what you're doing. So that 80% of what you're doing is probably not worth doing. That you should really figure out what that 20% is. But then I've heard it applied to like so many different areas of life that like 80% of your happiness is dependent on like 20% of the people in your life kind of deal. And it's, so like endless amounts. That 3 zones sounds very similar of like, it's can be applied to like so many different things.
Yeah.
The body and as well as your social network.
Yep.
So
yeah, that's the whole thing. Like that's what was so mind blowing. And again, I'm given a simplistic view. Like it's so hard to like tell you like the vast amount of connections you can make with it. It's absolutely mind boggling. And so anyway, it can affect people very emotionally too, because whenever you operate in like that, like we have these traumas that we store in the body. And so like I've had sessions where I work on people and they have these like emotional, and they might not even know what it is, but a lot of times that happens, and
like
they
emotional
just
release kind of thing.
They're just gonna let it out. And so what happens, like if you think about like when you're getting worked on and it hurts, right? Like you tend to like close your eyes and like you're trying to like get out of the moment. Well, those are like kind of signs that you're nervous. You're actually trying to run from like the problems. Really, you should actually really tune into it as you're getting worked on and let that go, rather than like just because really all you're doing whenever you do that is you're just stuffing it down some more.
Being someone that has had that work done on me is like, I don't know how you would do it without like squinting and like grimacing the whole time. Yeah. It was phenomenal, but it's
painful. Yeah.
It is painful. Yeah. That's for sure.
But that's kind of a good part of like, it's good though. Cause something I was thinking about earlier is like, when just talking about tempering in general, one of the issues I have is like, and we probably all would in similar guys like us who are just like, I'm a bigger guy. And so it's like, when I go and get like, I've had times where it's like, I'd like a deep tissue massage. And I'm like, yeah, that was kinda, you know what I mean? Where it's just like difficult, you know what I mean? It's like, no offense. And I've had, plenty of massages and stuff like that at the time, but I do feel like there's times where they just struggle to like really get in an area that I need to, or with like the body tempering stuff, it's like, well, here's a 100-pound roller. It's going to get in there. That's
the cool thing. And so whenever we did all this work, we were like, dude, body tempering sucks. This is like the best thing. Like it was so mind blowing that like, we were like, forget that stuff. But then we were working on people like, hey, can you roll me with that thing? So people still liked it. And so we're like, okay, yeah, we can do that. So like, at first, like I was like all into this because it was so powerful, but then but there is still an aspect that the body tempering is still really, really good, especially for, like you said, like bigger guys. And we have a lot of those that we work on. They're powerlifters, bodybuilders. And so like it just has this ability to like get in deeper too and clear up some tissue.
With that B-activate stuff, what do those techniques traditionally like actually look like? Like, because I guess in my head I was thinking that you're using body tempering like techniques with it. Is this more of like you're just doing like what are kind of some of the things look like?
So like what it looks like is we'll do it to everything that we do. You test first. So for instance, if we always start with the diaphragm, it goes in that order, the zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. And so we start with the diaphragm first. So basically we would do a test for that. So the test for the diaphragm is actually your hamstring length. So if you have tight hamstrings, actually the first thing that you should do is actually work on your diaphragm. And so what we would do is we'd test like range of motion of hamstring, see where that's at. And then
do a mental check here. 1, bad.
It's not going to be good. And so then there's different like reset points basically. So some of them, so the RPR is reset points. Be activated as reset points with some clearing of some tissue, because there's some like damage that kind of happens within what's happening. And so anyway, so the diaphragm reset point, you're gonna like you go along the rib cage. So it's like massage. It's like hands-on massage work, but not like what you think. Like it's not like a normal massage. You're like hitting.
You don't put lavender on my pillow.
You've done the tempering. Have you done the RPR or the?
So I think because what you were talking about, that is RPR stuff. So like I think I worked on you a long time ago when we were just doing that. But what I did with you was be activated. And
that got me.
Yeah.
You're fucking activated. I'm just over here RPR.
Yeah. So, I almost wish you could have like done that so you could have felt the difference between the two. But it's really not about just like getting these points. There's actually a specific technique in how you actually even approach the tissue and the angles. And so kind of like what you were talking about too, like you feel like people can't get deep enough. And so like we did this course and I already had like a pretty extensive list of people that I was already working with. And like I said, we were always doing this new stuff. And so like people are excited about trying the new stuff. And so I told like everybody, I was like, this stuff is the best thing we've ever seen. Like it's insane. And so like I literally worked on like, I don't know, like 40 people, like the week I got back from Be Activated. And we did like a follow-up call. And a lot of these people that like do Be Activated are like PTs that might like use it a little bit, or maybe the people that had injury. Some people do it. They just like want to know for their own, like some people don't even utilize the method. They just go to like be healed, you know? And so like, I don't think a lot of the people that do it like work to the capacity like of sessions we were. And so we did like this like follow-up call, and I was like, dude, my hands are roasted. I was like, I'm dying. I literally can't even function. I was like worked on so many people. And so like, he got it into my head that is like, I'm doing it wrong if I'm beat up. And so it's like, there's a way in which you approach the tissue and how you actually get to these spots that you should be working really hard. Like you're going to be squirming. It's going to be painful. And it's like, I'm like, I don't even really have to do it. Like, it's like really technical in how you approach these points. And so that the goal is that I'm facilitating it, but you're the one doing the work. And what I mean, like, is like I was talking about, as these things come up, you're like really cognitive of what you're feeling, and we're working through this thing together. And so anyway, so yeah, you would do the reset, you would do the test, do the reset, and then we'd immediately test it. And that's what I liked so much about it, is like, it's instantaneous.
Right.
As soon as you do, like you go through the suffering, but then you can immediately feel like, okay, well, I got some benefit from it. So it was worth it.
So like for your leg, like what would that look like? You said 333, right? What would that look like if you can explain? I'm sure you won't be able to hit all the details, but like what would that look like to reset that pattern?
Yeah. It's all that, like, you're just going through the whole sequence. It's never like different for anybody. You just go through the sequence, but when you get to that area, like that's going to be your spot. That's going to be pretty bad. And so
more sensitive.
Yeah. So once you release that spot, that's when your body is typically going to have a really big change, and you're going to feel that like nervous system drop.
Okay.
But so not always. What's that?
So it's you're doing, no matter what the issues are, you're doing the same thing, but you may have to be more cognizant of whatever area.
So you go through the same sequence no matter what, always, but what you find on people is different. And so it's not the same every time. It's weird, you know? It's so like I could be working on something and your ribs could be shifted in a weird, like, that's weird. That's not how it looks in a textbook. Your ribs way over here, but it should be here. And so like, it's different whenever you get to each individual, but the method and the system is the same, but within each session, it's very different. And so, but yeah, it's just clearing the system and going in that order, for each pattern is different. And so there's different patterns throughout the body. And then there's also a pattern, or there's also when there's no pattern. And so that's really bad. And so what happens is your body hasn't found stability within its psoas. And then it's also not been able to find a compensation pattern effectively. And so then we call that a zero pattern. And a zero is someone who's had like extreme trauma or PTSD. Things like something severe has happened to them, that their system is in like total shutdown. So like what we would, if we get a zero, which I've had zeros, and
can those people like walk and everything?
So a true like with a zero, you rate it out of 10.
Okay.
So a true zero is someone who's like on their deathbed. So no, you would be dying if you're a 0-0. But there's functionality in zeros. So like you could be like a 5 out of 10, but you're a 0.
Right.
And so we rate that. It's really just your own personal, like based on my feel of like muscle testing you and how that feels. I kind of just like, it's my personal perceived of like kind of what I guess, you know, what I feel you are. And so anyway, if you're a 0, like I said, it's someone who's been like really traumatic things happen to them. But what happens is you have no compensation pattern, right? So what you do is your adrenals can actually override your nervous system temporarily. And so people who are 0s typically live really chaotic lives. And so you'll find people who are always just going thing to thing to thing because they're reliant on like the constant stimulus to keep them going.
Yeah.
And so they live really chaotic lives. And so
they need that adrenaline, huh?
Yeah. And so anyway, like to kind of connect this to the world of powerlifting. So this was really cool. Douglas actually did this to a guy in the course. He tested the guy. This guy was a 0, and he like just scared him out of nowhere, like yelled at him, and then tested him, and he held. And so you have about 10 seconds of like adrenaline burst that your nervous system will override. And so he was holding this guy, and he was counting down. He was holding, and then like right at the 10-second mark, his leg just gave out. And so anyway, in like powerlifting, you know, you see all these like people slapping each other around, ammonia salts. And so there's actually people who are powerlifters who are 0s who go into these situations, and they need those crazy moments to get slapped around and yelled at. And then they go run to the bar, and then they go do their lift, and you only have a certain amount of time. And so like, if you run out of like, you just like,
you run out of juice.
Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dang.
That was watching you talking about, you know, the party trick of, you know, visualize somebody that's really stressful in your life. And, you know, I'm going to try and pull your arms down. I think I watched a video that you posted with, I believe Freddie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was really mind-blowing to me, because I remember this was probably like from like high school, like football weightlifting, you know, being in the gym, and it's like, you know, think of somebody that like really makes you angry and like, or like, you know, get really pissed off and we'll lift some weights kind of deal. And that's like, and to me, it's like, that kind of makes sense. Yeah. But watching that and like thinking, you know, having much more positive thoughts can produce a lot more strength, a lot more power, was super interesting. And like, especially for me, cause like, I don't think I hope I'm not a 0, but like
you had a pattern, but I can't remember what it was. But
gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so you know I'm not a 0.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good to know. Thomas might argue.
Yeah.
But it was. I think I don't tend to do really well with like a lot of like adrenaline inducing stimulus. Yeah. That I do. I think I do better if I am much more positive, much more. Yep. Dude, you could push me right over right now. But yeah, it's that was really mind blowing to me, and I've shared that video with a number of people and told that story to a number of people that like, and it's interesting to learn that I guess different people may not respond to that, or may respond more to adrenaline inducing stimulus. So. Yeah.
So like if you think about like any of those days where you go to the gym and you like have these bad days, and it's like you don't know why, you know, like but it's like there was probably things along the way that were threats to your system that are like gradually. There's a whole crazy world out there. Like I've done so many of these different methods. Like once I found this, and I was like obsessed with this like neurology thing. So I started looking into all these other methods, and so then it got me down this rabbit hole of looking into vision and like the vestibular system, which is like your inner ear balance system. And so basically we have like all of our different senses are all trying to help us all the time and orientate in where we are. And so like an easy one to kind of describe is like people who get car sick, for instance. So what happens is you're taking visual input, and you're also taking vestibular input. And so what happens is typically it's like you're looking at your phone or something while you're in a car, right? So it could be your eyes are stabilizing really good, and they're telling your brain, hey, we're not moving. But then your vestibular system is picking up movement of the car and it's saying, hey, we're moving. And so it's like, it's trying to figure out where you are in space and what's happening. And so what happens is to get you to figure, like, cause it's not sure what's happening. And again, goal number 1 is survive. So it's like, we're going to make you sick. So you stop. So your body, you get sick so that you stop doing what you're doing. And it's like, okay, get to safety. And so it's just a compensation pattern to get
survival mechanism.
It's literally just to make you stop whatever you're doing. Is to make you sick. Like Riley got car sick on just a week ago. We were actually taking that little family trip, and we got on some roads that were real hilly and windy in Missouri. And I was super aware that like I get car sick. I was sitting in the back seat, and I've been become a lot more aware of it and like how to deal with it since I was a kid. It's really interesting to learn why that even happens. It's so much more simple than I would have thought. But I knew I was sitting in the back seat, and then at some point I was like, hey, like Alyssa, like I probably need to jump in the front seat or like drive or something because I'm sitting in the back seat. And we were like FaceTiming my grandma for a second, and I was like, Grandma, we're gonna FaceTime for like 3 minutes, otherwise I'm gonna get car sick kind of deal. So, but we're doing all this, and like Alyssa pulls over, I get in the driver's seat, Alyssa hangs out in the back, and Riley was starting to get really fussy, and so our solution is usually she's just getting bored or just stuck in the car seat too long and just needs something. So we gave her a tablet, which she's really good about not needing it too much on car rides, but we gave her the tablet not thinking we're on those windy roads. She got car sick. It was like the saddest thing in the world. But yeah, that's really interesting. And especially thinking of like, for me, it's like, okay, now we know we need to take away the tablet, because like for me, I know that causes me to be car sick if I'm like looking at a screen and driving or not driving, but riding. I don't do that. But if I do start to get car sick, I have to like look out the window and find something off in the distance, which makes a lot more sense now, because it's like that can help me gauge on how the car is moving. Where if I'm just looking at something, even just in the car, I can't gauge on how I'm moving. So those two things aren't lining up.
Have you seen the glasses?
No.
So the glasses make so much more sense now. They are the gooberiest looking things that have ever existed, but they're like glasses, and then they have like half filled with water, so they like shift as you're kind of going. Oh brother, let me pull up a picture of these real quick. I got some for Laurel, but that doesn't make, but it all makes sense. You know what I mean? Like if you then can, no matter what you're looking at, if you can see like the movement of the car, well then it all kind of like connects the dots here. You guys talk amongst yourselves for a second.
It's really interesting.
But yeah, so like we have like, you could call it like your threat bucket essentially. So like there's all these like little things that over time are filling up your bucket.
We need to get you some of these, dude.
I might need some, man. I can get more work done in the car, I guess.
I've seen this.
That's crazy.
It's pretty wild. But yeah, so you have like your threat bucket that like essentially there's all these like little weird things. And so you were talking about even like looking far away. So that's also an actual visual thing. So that's actually called divergence. So like looking far away, your eyes will diverge, versus like if you look close, your eyes are converging. Mm-hmm. So like there could be visual deficits within doing that too. So like say you're getting chronic headaches all the time and like you've been on your phone all day. It's like you've done a ton of convergence, but you don't think about like doing divergence. So you've probably chronically overused that. And so like these are all like threats to your nervous system, all these little things that kind of stack up over your day. And so kind of like going back to like, you have this like off day at the gym. It could be your mindset on how you came into the day, but it could be all these like weird little things that you weren't even aware of that happened all throughout your day that add up to be this thing that's kind of shutting your system down.
It's crazy because you like even think. I remember I talked to Rachel, who's a counselor who we'd had on here, and really cool talking to her just about like therapy stuff in general. And I remember telling her a story recently when I was talking to her, and it's just like one of those things where you realize like how much like an effect your brain has on things, but it's just like deep seated things, kind of like you're talking about. I remember something like, I don't remember what it was, but it was like I saw somebody on like Facebook, or it looks like a picture of somebody on Facebook, and I was like, ugh, I don't like that person. And then I like started thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't even know this person. And it was somebody that my mom didn't like when I was a kid. And so it was like for years, my mom, like anytime that person would come up and they could, my mom would just be like, I don't like that person's not good for whatever reason. I literally don't even remember. But how like 30 years later pops up on my phone from like a picture, and I'm like, ugh. And it gave me like an actual like reaction, not just like I was like, oh, I don't like that person. And I'm like, why do I not like this person? One, it's like I don't actually have a reason to. It's just because like 30 years ago, the person in charge of my like safety told me bad, and now my brain was like bad.
Yep.
And now 30 years later, I still have that same deep-seated thing.
Have you guys heard that theory that memories can be passed down through genetics or can be passed down through generations?
Crazy.
That it seems like, which is probably a theme to like all of this that we're talking about today, is like, it seems like that's total voodoo magic, but it's like, I think the thing is like, or the thing that like made the connection for me of like, maybe that's real is like, humans that are afraid of like snakes. I can't remember if this is the exact analogy, but that certain people are just born just afraid of snakes. And that's like a hereditary thing typically, that it's, you know, a group of people somewhere were, you know, getting, you know, bitten by snakes. And then one had a genetic thing where they started to become afraid of snakes, and that got passed along through generations. And so their kids are afraid of snakes, even though the snakes weren't being attacked, that they had already, you know, moved away, or the snakes had gone away or whatever. But it's like that really made the connection for me of like, maybe memories can be passed down, which like, I think there's so much not understood about the brain and and memories especially.
Yeah. And even if it's not like even just like a direct memory, like it's still like the reaction because of a situation that happened from someone else. It's like, why not? I don't know.
Yeah.
I ain't a brain scientist.
I don't think, that was another mind blowing thing to me. I heard recently, like that no neuroscientist could there's only theories on how memories work, but there's no exact science to how memories work. Yeah. That and yawns. Nobody knows why humans yawn.
Yeah. So weird thing about like the patterns and stuff is typically the people closest to you are typically group to people who have similar patterns to you. And so it's actually pretty rare that people or at least for the amount of people that I've tested, like almost predominantly people are bilateral, same thing on both sides. It's like, it's pretty rare that people are different, at least that I've found. And so anyway, what was weird to me whenever like Douglas talked about that people could have the same patterns that you're close with,
same physical patterns.
Yeah. So the compensation patterns.
Yeah.
So, and whatever your pattern is, that is your pattern. It like, so whenever like whatever your tested pattern, that is always your default nervous system pattern to fall into.
Gotcha.
It doesn't change.
So you're not trying to like get rid of that pattern.
Yeah.
It's just trying to make sure that you're not falling into that all the time.
So to go back, like we'll never live in a perfect world where we're always going to be the 1, 2, 3. But the idea is learning those social things like I was talking about, and like navigating and taking care of yourself so that you can try to live within that as long as you can. But inevitably we're going to go up and down, and we're going to be in our patterns, but like, it's just like navigating life and figuring out. So it's not you like, we'll never live there, but you try to live there as long as you can. Through
is that the same thing like with like the physical stuff? Like, so like your leg being like a 3-3-3, like, is that just like the natural default that it's going to fall back into?
Yeah. You'll go back to that pattern always.
Yeah.
And so for instance,
it's like you're just born with that then?
So that's where like you just at some point, like where your body just finds like whenever you have this, you go into your fight or flight, your sympathetic nervous system, at some point your body searches for the stability, and it's going to find it in one of those structures or not and be a 0. But whenever it finds it, and it could be whatever it finds, then that's what it is. So there's really,
it's that way forever.
Yeah. And so this is, so like ACL tears, for instance, like think about like, you hear people all the time, like they have ACL tears like all the time, right? Just like they get it repaired and they do the therapy, but they never address the pattern.
Right.
So they have the same compensation pattern that they're still susceptible to the same injury over and over and over and over. So it's like you defaultly will go back to that's your pattern.
Yeah.
And so
do you remember what pattern I was?
I feel like yours was the jaw, but I can't remember.
I know you did a decent amount of work on my jaw.
Yeah.
That was a really interesting time to get worked on too. Was it was like, just to like describe it, it's really nice to hear you explain all of this quite a bit more. I know you did a decent amount when you were working, but it was, all right, now we're going to work, you started, hey, we're going to work on your psoas, and, you kind of work in here a little bit. So that makes sense. It's like, all right, now we're going to work on your hamstrings, and you'd work on my abs a little bit more. I'm like, hey brother, that's not my hamstring.
So, to describe like some of this stuff, so the glute spot is the base of the skull actually. And so the reason the psoas spot
I feel your butt.
and the glute spot, the reason they are what they are, they're actually developmental reflex spots. So this would be cool with you, with little ones at home. So what happens when a baby's first developing, the first extension pattern that they learn is to pick up the head. So that's extension of the neck. So once they pick up the neck, this back of the head there starts to activate the glutes now that they're learning extension. So now the glutes start to fire. They're doing their tummy time, right? So when they're on their tummy, the glutes are now starting to fire now that they can hold their head. So then they kind of like do that like rocking motion. Mm-hmm. It's because their glutes are firing into extension. And so they're rubbing their tummy as they're doing that, right? So eventually as they're rubbing their tummy, they're actually activating their psoas, and eventually the leg goes into hip flexion. It goes up under, and then they start to crawl.
Yeah.
And so those are actually developmental reflex spots that we just carry with it. Like we just have them still.
Wow.
So that's why
that's crazy.
Yeah. That's why those spots are what they are.
Yeah.
And so, but so I'm not 100% sure on this next part I'm about to say, but my theory is, like some of these other weird spots and why they are in different, weird areas, like the calf spot is up here in the abdomen as well. But I think it's like, it has to do with embryology as well. So like when you're developing, like these things were once close and touching each other, and then they like as you grow, you kind of like, so there's like this connection that still like has this neurological connection between those two areas that are now far apart. But when they were growing, they were once together.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, the developmental thing is kind of weird. And so like with my, like, I think I learned this like once we had my daughter. And so like I actually did some of this with her. Like I just kind of like rubbed her tummy and stuff. And it was actually pretty crazy. Like when she was first starting to walk, and she would actually take more, like I noticed you could take more steps.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
And so like the other thing of like calming the nervous system and stuff, there was this point where my son was waking up in the middle of the night and crying and stuff. And so I like did the zone 1, the diaphragm, the psoas and glutes. And I was kind of like, I'm like tickling him, and he was kind of like, he was kind of tensing up. But I wasn't like digging on him hard, but just kind of like touching those points. And like sure enough, he like went and laid down and like fell asleep and slept through. Like it was pretty wild.
That's crazy. Can a non-certified person do a very mild form of this if Riley's not sleeping?
Yeah. So like, it's like, I mean, that's the whole point. Like once you do this, like once you know these points, that's the, like, it's taking care of yourself outside of it too. And so like, it's kind of the RPR thing. Like you're rubbing these points, and you're going to get a stimulus from it. It just may not be like lasting stimulus. So it's like, you get these points, you rub them. Like you don't have to be super specific. If you're kind of like in that general area, like I'm
not going to lie. Yeah. Since I did that session with you, I obviously am not going to do nearly as good of a job as you are. But if it's like I'm dealing with like, I don't know, just like pain or stress or something like that, it's like I'll do, like I find myself like almost even subconsciously, like just kind of digging my abs, like in my sides and up my ribs, and like really getting like my psoas a lot, especially like if I'm like lower back pain, like I've been doing a lot of that. So
psoas is huge for that.
Yeah.
You got to address it all. Like that's the thing is, and that's so like traditional medicine and like body work and stuff, like come in and like, hey, my arm hurts. Like you're going to just like go in and attack the arm, but like, and so that's like, at first when we're working with people, they're like, this is what hurts. They're like, you're not doing that. Like, it's like, just
right.
Go with the flow here. Like you're going to see what's going to happen. And so it's like, you'll work on all this stuff and you'll never even touch that area. And they're like, my arm feels better. That's weird. You didn't even touch my arm.
Right.
Nice to not have to hit an area that is sensitive too. So.
And most likely that's probably your compensation pattern. And so to kind of go back again, like, so if for instance, if my arm is messed up and we just go in and we just beat up the arm, right? We're going to take, like, maybe that was my body's compensation pattern, and the body was locking those things down. And so now we just took away the body's compensation pattern, but we also
took away its static point now.
But we never gave it stability either. So now you're like, you have your body has no stability.
Right.
And so then you're even more susceptible to injury because you have neither. You don't want to be compensating because it's actually causing a lot of harm to the body, but it's also not good to not compensate.
Yeah, right. You don't like the fixing of a compensation isn't taking away the compensation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you want to get these things to you get these things to fire so that it naturally does that.
A band-aid to the situation could be detrimental.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
be worse.
And that's the thing is like the compensation might be the thing that's bothering you that you're feeling because it's having to do something, but there's like something else. Man, this is all coming together.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're working from the source rather than going to where you're feeling it.
Specifically, like just noticing all my ailments on my body now as he goes through all this.
No, him talking about this, I'm like, I am in a lot of pain right now.
Yeah, I am. Well, it's funny because like I think about like my wife and she's been dealing and I need to come see you. She needs to come see you.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
Get out of here. But she struggles a lot, especially recently, where she has jaw issues from like she'll like grind her teeth and stuff. She's having really bad and has had really bad like
migraines.
Do what?
Migraines.
Yeah. And then QL area stuff is really bad. And well, she's also had a full shoulder reconstruction. And when they did that, they put a lot of, squares in the circle slots and circles in the square slots, it seemed like. And so it's like, it's something that like she's really dealt with a bunch. And it's like, she really struggles to like find things that help with it.
Yeah. Yeah. The jaw thing, I mean, without doing it, I can always, but you can pretty much like guess what it's going to be. And like, the symptoms of a jaw compensator are migraines and TMJ and like jaw issues. So she's most likely a jaw pattern. Yeah. And so it's the jaw that's driving the hip function. And so it's the jaw, the neck, the abs, the quads, the tibia. It still recruits all of that because it needs things on both ends. So as you go down the line, everything that's in line with it gets recruited as well.
Right.
So
we kind of think like, if it's all connected on a string, if I pull here, it's still pulling up here.
Yes, yep, exactly. So it needs it from both ends. And so anyway, then there's all this pressure in the middle. Mm-hmm. So then what happens is people with like disc issues. So if you have a bilateral pattern, you're going to have all this force driving straight down, and you're going to have the disc are almost getting like pancaked, like it's just driving all this pressure straight down. Whereas like if you have a bilateral pattern, which she might be like an arm shoulder driver on the other side and a jaw on one, if you said she had shoulder.
Yeah.
So
surgery.
Then what happens is so those are also mismatch patterns. But then mismatch patterns cause torquing in the system. So then you might have more drive on one side, which is going to leave that QL unstable. And so it's pretty crazy. Like whenever you actually test this stuff, like you can put all this together and it's all the same.
Well, again, I think like even using just that analogy, it's kind of silly, but it's like, I think it makes sense. It's like, if you think like from my jaws to my toes, there's a string that goes through all of them. If I pull down here on my toes, it's going to eventually be pulling up here, or vice versa, obviously like different areas, but it's like that string is going to go, however that goes is going to affect a lot of different things.
Yeah. So there's these things called sling patterns of the body. Basically, it's like these connected fascial lines of the body, and literally from your tongue to literally. So it's funny you say that. It actually is a fascial line. It's called the deep core line. So from your tongue all the way to your foot is actually
your tongue.
And so, funny enough, I've actually done an entire course over the tongue, and actually, like you'd think it's funny, but you could actually do all kinds of weird stuff with the tongue. You'd be surprised if you pull on your tongue how sensitive your tongue is. Stretch it in different directions. The little tab on the bottom of your tongue, how sensitive that can be. But there's some weird stuff with the
That's
with the
crazy.
Tongue. So it's kind of funny whenever you have the jaw pattern. So like when you're at the course, Douglas makes you sing if you're a jaw pattern. So he makes you sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So you're to be trying to do like he'll be muscle testing you, and he makes you sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So you're like trying to hold, and you can hear people like as they're saying it, they're biting down and they're trying to like not say it because
if your jaw is driving your hip, it can't be singing Twinkle, Twinkle.
Exactly. Whenever you make sound, it's relaxed. You can't actually you can't use it, and you don't want to be exposed like that. And so people like they hate it. Whenever you test them, they want to win.
Right.
And so it's like if like you really understand this system and you just you do it right. If you completely relax your jaw, you cannot hold it no matter how. But if your jaw is holding, you could bite your jaw and you could hold your leg up and you can hold.
Right.
But you're trying hard. You have to really actively fight it. But then whenever we activate the psoas, you can hold your psoas. And so it's kind of funny. People think that whenever we do this work, because you do a test before and you do a test after, and you might be able to like, and I think you might even have said it, but like, it's like you go to test it again and it feels so easy because it's working correctly that it feels like I'm pushing less.
Right.
So
I was convinced that I was like, dude, you're messing with me, because it's like, dude, you're like pushing real hard the first time, and the second time, like it's like, dude, it felt like he's like whole body weight was like being pushed on me, and then the second time I felt like he was like, like just pretending to push, kind of.
And so people are skeptical of it a lot because they're like, no, you just weren't pushing hard. Like I'm actually push harder a lot of times the second time so that they could feel, but it's like when it actually works correctly, it's not as much effort. You have to put a ton of effort in to go all the way through all these patterns to hold it.
Right.
It's a cheat. It'll let you get through, but it's not the most effective pattern. The most effective way is to do it correctly, but it's a way to get through it.
I think I might have even asked you too. I'm like, well, yeah, like it seems easier, but you're not pushing as hard, because I legitimately thought that was part of the process. It's like, I'm going to push really hard the first time and then really soft the second time. I was like, and then I thought you were fucking with me. And then I like really started to pay attention, and I'm like, all right, this is crazy.
Yeah. It is wild, dude. Like you just cannot even believe it until you do it. And that's what's so cool is you feel it along the way. And what's crazy is the more, like, I've done it so much now, like as soon as I like pick your leg up or whatever to like put it in a position, like you can feel if the nervous system is guarding it or not. Like I can, without even doing the test, I can already tell if you're going to fail or not. Like you can just feel it. It's really weird, but when it's on, like you could literally push as hard as you want. Like it's not going anywhere. It's really wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I remember because I did it again on a pretty interesting day. It was on Memorial Day this year. So we were doing Murph at the Park, and you guys were set up right next to us, and we had a little break in between people stopping by, and so I sat on the table, and Cody worked on me for a while, and it's no joke. Like that was probably tougher to get through than doing the Murph after that. Honestly, the cool thing about it though is like the Murph was a workout that like I definitely don't train for. Like it's definitely outside my wheelhouse. Like I do enough like working out that like I got through it, but it's like I was not prepared for that at all. It's like running. I don't run. A ton of pull-ups. I don't do typically many. I just do strict pull-ups, and like air squats and push-ups. And it's like all stuff that like I should have gone home and like been beat up the rest of the day. And I think it was the thing that was most sore was my chest from push-ups. I'm like, dude, my legs should be smoked right now. But it's like, it's my chest that was, especially the next day, that's smoked right now. It's like, I did a decent amount of push-ups, but like that wasn't like a whole lot more volume than I'm used to doing on like a press day. But I felt way better than I thought I should have from a day of working outside and doing the Murph. Like I should have been beat up, but I think that had a really big effect on me.
Like it's been like going through this current one right now was like, I've pushed harder than I ever have. Like this has been it's been by far the hardest prep. Like I've pushed more weight, but like truly the only thing that is like keeping me alive right now is like me and Marcus work on each other every single Wednesday. Like that's like built into our schedule. We just like do these like trade-off sessions basically. Like we'll do like the zone 1 on him, and then I'll go zone 1 on me, and then zone 2, like just kind of go back and forth.
That's cool.
We kind of play. This is where we also like experiment and play with like learning different techniques. And so we've been doing some different stuff too we've been like applying like the body tempering within the core, like the same, instead of just like randomly just like rolling, like we'll do the activation points and then like roll the areas that we're like activating as well. And we've also been playing with some cupping, doing the same thing, like cupping the areas. Yeah. It's been really interesting, but like that's truly like I would be like so broken right now if I didn't have that. And it's really truly keeping me in. And so
what also just like mentally too, so it sounds like with like what, the range that you can add.
That's what where I was going to go.
Congrats on this. That 800-pound squat though, by the way.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Did you know about that?
No.
Yeah, you're over 800 pounds now, right?
I did 800 like it was like 4 or 5 weeks ago, and then I did 810 2 weeks ago. And so the reason the 810 is significant is that in USPA, the organization that I compete with, so I compete in the single ply category like we were talking about earlier. So USPA single ply drug tested, any weight class of all time, the biggest squat is 805.
Jeez.
So and USPA, USAPL are like the two like biggest federations within like pretty much the US. So so anyway, so 810 is the number to beat. And the guy that did 805 was a super heavyweight. He weighed 330 and I weighed 230. So
drug tested to 800 pounds.
Yeah. So
810 pounds.
Yeah.
810 pounds. My bad.
Yeah. So that's why that number is what I'm going for. Me personally, I like to feel what I'm going to do before I go into a meet. So a lot of times, people won't hit their numbers until then, but I like to feel what I'm going to do. And so, so man, that was a huge moment for me doing that 810. I'm not a super touchy, huggy person or very emotional. I've probably cried a handful of times in my adult life, and I immediately after the squat, I without even thinking about it, I hugged Marcus and I literally started crying. It was insane, dude. Like it's just like the amount of like, it's really undescribable. Like I've been powerlifting for 8 or 9 years now. And so what's crazy is, my squat last year was, my top squat, was 700. That was like my absolute max.
Really?
So as an 8-year competitor in 1 year, I've put 100 pounds on my squat, and I really like a lot of it's due to the work that we've done. And so, anyway, but
I was going to ask if you contributed a lot to that.
Yeah. And, but like it's the jump from that, the 700 to 800 is like, it's undescribable. Like, the amount of intensity within that, like I literally, I have like anxiety attacks like all the time, like just thinking about like doing that, like the thought of it is so scary. And I don't really know what I'm scared of, but it's a lot, man. It's pretty intense. And so like everything I'm doing like is just like to prepare to do that. Like Mondays is my squat day. And so like my whole weekend, like I'm just thinking about like everything is just to get prepared. And I'm like just getting super anxious. And I remember the first day I did the 800. So what's been crazy is along this prep, like I've been prepping off of a number I haven't even done. Like, so every week has literally been PR.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's just been so like nerve wracking going into it. But the morning I did the 800 the first time, I was like watching all these like Ronnie Coleman videos of like him doing the 800 pound squat, like just cause that was just a moment I remembered of somebody doing it,
right.
And so like,
not a lot of videos of that.
Yeah. So it just like, it was making me sick to my stomach. But you know, funny enough is I was thinking about like when you originally reached out. So the day I did the 810 was last week. We were originally supposed to meet then. And like I had told you that was like my peak squat day. But I was literally thinking like one of like the worries on my mind is like, I was like, dude, I'm going to be on this podcast. I cannot, I told Kevin I'm going to do this squat. I'm literally not kidding. I was thinking that was like a worry on my mind that I was like, I cannot go to have like negative news here. So,
dude, I can relate to that a little bit. This was back when I was a kid and I was pretty big into skateboarding and snowboarding, and it was winter, so I was snowboarding a lot. And I lived in Missouri, and for those that don't know, there's not a lot of mountains in St. Louis, Missouri.
What?
But there is man-made. Yeah. There's a man-made hill, or like man-made snow on this hill called Hidden Valley, and you can go snowboard, and there's like parks and stuff like that. And I remember like I was like working myself up and like on these parks and like doing bigger and bigger stuff. And I like knew there was like this really big jump that they had built, and I hadn't gotten to do it yet. And I remember for like, I'm pretty sure it was like 2 or 3 weeks out from going to snowboard again. It's like, I really want to do that, but fuck, it's scary. And it's like, and I like psyched myself out about it. I went and was able to find a way to kind of like ease into it, like essentially like warm up, like going off the side, but like, and worked into being able to do it. But like, I remember having like so much anxiety about doing it. But it's like, nobody's forcing me to do this. So,
it's funny when you're like thinking about like a competition or something that you haven't even signed up for. Yeah. You're like getting anxiety about it. You're like, this is great. I haven't even, there's like that, like, I just don't have to sign up for this if I don't want to.
But yeah, it's so wild, man. Like, and like the whole time it's like, as I'm warming up, like it feels okay. And then like, it's like the moments before that is like unreal how much it hits you. And like, you're so nervous. And like if you watch the video, like Josh Hewitt, he clipped together this like pretty cool like little Ronnie Coleman.
That was awesome.
But if you watch Richard, one of my training partners, is handing me my mouthpiece like right before, I'm like, like, dude, and Marcus is slapping me around, and I'm like, I wanted it in the moment to like get amped up, but I'm like so like jittery and weak. I'm like, dude, you're gonna knock me over, like so I'm just like, it's so unreal, like in the like I can't even like put it into words like how intense of a moment it is.
Thomas and I have no idea what it's like to
I'm
put
like just trying to put it in perspective right now. It would be the equivalent of like me, you, Preston, and Alyssa on this couch and him being able to squat it.
It's,
like literally though.
That's
what the fuck.
So, you know,
I don't even. I don't think I couldn't unrack that. If you're like, Kevin, we put 800 pounds on this squat bar on this rack. Get it, just push it off. I'd be like, I probably can't.
You like get it and just like, where'd Kevin go?
It sounds silly, but honestly, the easiest part of it is actually doing the squat. Like it sounds funny, but it's like the moments leading up to that moment is like, it's a billion times harder. Like I've told people this a few times now that I've gotten to this point. If I could just like magically teleport and just be like warmed up and ready to go and just like be in the position to squat it, like I mean, it's difficult, but it like wouldn't be that hard.
Right. It's the weight.
It's like, it's just everything going in. It's such a mental battle. I've never experienced it until this level, that it's just like to overcome it is like unreal. Like I don't want to do it so bad. Dude, when I go into it, it's just like,
I think the crazy thing is, adding 100 pounds to your squat in a year, man. I think for anybody that is an experienced lifter, like how much you do start to reach plateaus. And I'm not a power lifter, but like, man,
that's a ridiculous jump.
For me to even just be adding 50 pounds to a weight in a year, it's like, it's the only lifts that I do that on are like weird ones that I haven't done in a while. It's like, okay, like I'm doing, I don't know, I'm doing an adductor machine where I'm used to doing something different for adductors. And I'm like, I'm doing an adductor machine again. It's like, okay, like I can only move a certain amount of weight. It's like, okay, I was able to jump up 50 pounds, in a matter of like 6 months kind of deal. But it's like, that's because I just wasn't doing this before. But to be able to make that kind of jump where it's something that you have done for
squatting.
Exactly. You've been doing a lot of weight for a very long time is impressive.
really the big thing is, so like 2023, like I really kickstarted like my powerlifting coaching and started getting all that launched. And I was kind of like in this point where I kind of like was doing like one meet a year, and it was just like I wasn't really like really training for it, and then it kind of like got me refired up, like getting everybody coaching again and going to these big meets. And to be honest, in those 2 years from 2023 to this is like I failed a lot, like every single meet, honestly. And I did a lot of meets. Like I competed a bunch because it kind of like refired me up. I can't remember the number. I think I did like 6 meets in like 2 years. Whoa. It was like an extreme amount. And literally every one of them I failed like my ultimate goal of what I was going for. And, but I learned so much like in those 2 years and the whole time, like really putting myself out there for these big goals that I think like I learned so much within that. And I think that's why I was able to do this, because I just applied all this knowledge that I had gathered over this time. And what was kind of crazy is like, I did the Olympia last year, and right after I got done, I was beat up, man. I was the most frustrated I had ever been. Like, I had just dealing with like this real bad tendonitis in my elbow and shoulder and stuff. And we were working on it, but it's like, you can only do so much when you're just beating yourself down, like right after it, And so it's like, it was just like compounding, and it happened after the meet. I was telling you guys that story earlier. So I still went to the Olympia, but I had only qualified for the bench only at a previous meet. So I went to the Olympia, just did bench, but like I was determined to go anyway. So it had been a big goal. And so I was just beating myself down, and we were talking about the single ply stuff. So like every single week, like in training, I missed like every single bench basically for like 8 weeks going into the Olympia. Jeez. And so I was so frustrated. I was so beat up, and I was just like constantly just, no matter how much it hurt, I just kept doing it anyway. Right. And, but I showed up to the Olympia, and I ended up, I'd hit my bench, and I mean, I didn't do anything like, nothing amazing for me, but it was like the fact that I got there after all that. Yeah. And, but that was just kind of like the last kind of like failure of all that. It was still a failure to what I was going for. And so anyway, but I learned so much from that. And so I completely didn't squat, bench, or deadlift for like 10 weeks, which I had never like done that probably since I started powerlifting. And I just started doing this. Like I just kind of came up with it. I was just like, I just need to do some volume for a while. And so I did I just basically did all these supersets of like 20 to 25 reps in multiple rounds until I hit 100 reps on everything. And I did like, basically it's like 900 to 1,000 reps, like every workout that I did. It was like super lightweight, but it was just like moving volume. And I freaking hated it. It was terrible, man. I was so like monotonous. I did it over and over, but I put out like a lot of size on, I felt like through that time. And then I just kind of like structure, and I was like started adding up I was like, man, I'm going to do this right for once. Like I'm not going to rush a meet. Like I'm going to train. Like I wanted to do these certain blocks within my training. I'm like, I'm going to do this when this lines up. And if there's not a meet around then I'm going to go a little longer. Like I'm just going to make this work right. And what was crazy is I did that. I had that 10-week phase planned, and then I was going to do 3 12-week phases right behind that. And so like I added it up, and I knew it was like going to be somewhere in August, but I like at the time, and it was like way out from that. So I wasn't really like worried about when I was competing yet. But as it got closer, I like added it up. It was like, okay, August 23rd. That's the weekend from what I have currently planned where that lines up without having to add or do anything different. Well, my whole thing was this year, I was like, I didn't want to do any of the other bigger meets. I wanted to like do it locally so I could get all the support of my crew. And so it was crazy. This meet that doesn't normally, like the Strength Factory, they host 2 meets. We host 2 meets. Well, the meet that they normally do is normally in June. And they just so happens they changed this meet around this year. It was August 23rd. It was like meant to be that I did it that day. So it was pretty wild that it just like lined up with all that. But yeah, man, it was just like through failure, honestly. Right. I'm telling you, I learned so many hard lessons that I didn't want to do in the moment. I'd have to deal with, but
I just can't even imagine, like, literally, and again, Kevin said this a little bit ago, but like just I'm trying to wrap my head around what 800 plus pounds feels like on your back. Like, I guess I can't, like, you know, never done any real capacity of actual powerlifting in my life. But I remember, like, when we were in college, we didn't know what we were doing from like a powerlifting standpoint, but just trying to get like as strong as we could. And I had
lift more weight.
Yeah. And I had a very strong at the time, like, military press. And that I still remember, like, how awful it felt to just like hold that weight above my head kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I just like I remember doing like a military press and being like, well, I'm going to stand up and be 3 inches shorter than I was because my spine just got compressed. Like, this is craziness.
Actually, so to put that in perspective, when I start warming, so we have like you guys know what a monolift is? So like we have a monolift, which is nice because you can adjust to multiple different heights without having to take the weight off. And so with our group, we're all different heights, so we can adjust back and forth. But like I'll start with it on the 15 setting. And by the time I get to 800, I'm squatting off of 12, which is like on the rack, like it's like that much of a difference of like dropping it because I literally can't get the bar out of the rack.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
Bro.
And so I have to like, it's really like, it's actually really like I have to jam. It's hard to get under the bar almost, but it's like, I literally can't take it out any height. Like it's
like if you had 2 videos that were like perfectly aligned of you, like first warm up and 800 pounds, it would look like you just like shrunk the video down for the 800 pounds. Like,
it's pretty wild, but it's like just leading into that moment is insane, man. And so, but yeah, we got a good crew, man. And like, that's everything. Like having the right people around you is like those kind of weights, like that kills people. Like that's like
literally,
so like, my training part, like, so we do this like my secondary squat day is like my lighter day, but it's really weird. So like we do like band tension. So basically we do like a box squat. And so the bar weight is less. So like it waves intensity from 50, 55 to 60%. And then you add band tension. And then you always go back 50, 55, 60, 50, 55, 60. It's a West Side barbell thing. And so, but you add more and more band tension each time. And we kind of like found the limit of that. And so like my training partner actually like through this prep, he actually ruptured his quad tendon. So while we were squatting with band tension. So yeah, that way. And then scary. Like the very next, like that was like that very next week, I was like having to squat like a new PR. And it's just like, dude, that was one of the worst injuries I've seen like in person because we had,
get to you mentally.
Like I said, it was like 50 pounds or something, but then we had like 400 pounds of bands on top of it.
Yeah.
So it's like 900 pounds at the top.
Jeez.
And so it's you can handle a lot more because that's like you're stronger the top end as the bands deload. And so on those days it's actually a lot more than I'm lifting. So we've actually gotten that all the way up to like close to like 1,000 pounds. It's pretty wild, but anyway, but yeah, he ruptured his quad tendon. And so, but it's like, it's hard. It's not fun to do the training that we're doing. And it's scary. And it's like, people don't really realize like how much load that is, you know, and like what the damage that could be done with that. And so it's like, yeah, man,
that's crazy.
Do you, so like for the 800 and the 810 squat, did you have something or like someone that you thought of that was really inspiring to you, or is there like something that helps you get into a positive mindset?
Was it us? It's okay if it was.
I mean, like I said, that would legitimately was. I'm not even saying that. That was legitimately a thought. Like knowing I was coming to this, it's like
we made the
that was for the 810. That was the big one.
We were part of the 810 mindset.
I feel so bad that we had to reschedule though. Thank you, by the way, for pushing back.
It's all good. But yeah,
you get to sit here today and tell us about it.
Yeah, for sure. I feel much better about that. That was a relief to get that behind me. But yeah, no. So I have like a very specific routine to kind of like go back to all this stuff we've been talking about and really put it in perspective of like all these lessons that I learned. A lot of them were within this, all the therapy stuff that I've learned, the neurology, and tying that together to lifting. And so like that staircase analogy and how like, whenever you have limited capacity. And if you think about what I was talking about earlier, when I was in all those failure moments, I was so frustrated, like I had no capacity at all. Mm-hmm. But we've done all this work and I've been able to like open my nervous system up and like give me more room to actually handle more stress. Right. And so it's like, you can't really expect yourself, if you live within this, to like add an extreme stressor to that. Right. Like you're not going to be able to perform. And so yeah, we've done all this work and I really feel like I've been able to like have more capacity within that. And so, but yeah, like in those moments, Marcus has been huge for me, man. And, he's been a mentor for me and, we've done a lot together. It's actually kind of crazy because, I actually only met Marcus like 6 months before we opened the gym. And, so he became a partner like right when we opened, but I had only briefly met him like right before that. Actually at a powerlifting meet, and but what's crazy is I literally feel like I've known him my whole life. Yeah. Like we've done.
It's been cool to watch because that was kind of an interesting thing because I knew Marcus back from when he was at the weight room years ago. We met him whenever we were doing sample events there back when Chad was still around. And we would see him at bodybuilding shows from time to time. And then I remember hearing about you from Anthony and Alfonso saying that you've got, all this equipment and all these different garages and you're going to open up a gym. And, you guys go to the same high school at some point or
what's that?
Did you or Anthony or you or Alfonso go to the same high school?
No, like actually where it all, this is like pretty surreal too. Like just being here and doing all this because, no, it was going through UCO. Like I just remember seeing people wear the Triad shirts all the time. And I just like, it just seemed like the place to be, So like I went over and I started shopping with you guys and so like, Alfonso actually came he like delivered an order to me or something one time, like brought it to like the garage and saw the gym and stuff. So
probably back in like 2020 was it?
Yeah, it would have been. So like we opened the gym in 2020, but like it was in my garage up until like right before.
And but yeah, I remember hearing about you guys opening, seeing pictures. I never got to visit the original location, but I remember seeing pictures of how packed it was in there, all the equipment you guys had. And then, and I remember seeing other people posting about like going, I think like Dalton Kaufman was working out when you guys first opened. And then I remember seeing videos of Marcus there and like training there, like working out there, like every day. It seemed like, it's like, oh, okay. Because Marcus is going here as well. And then shortly after that, obviously you guys moving into the space that you are now with a lot more space and Marcus becoming a partner and everything. And it was just kind of too interesting. I guess I assumed that you guys didn't really know each other prior. I guess I didn't know for sure, but it's been really cool to see how well you guys have worked together since that moment.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it feels like we've literally, we've gotten to know each other's family. Like we've been super close at this point, and it's been surreal, man. Like it's crazy. Like I said, it literally feels like I've known him my whole life, and it's been 5 years. It's actually crazy, but feels like way longer. But like he's been that person for me that's really like supported me. So like whenever he's there in that moment and kind of like, we just kind of know how to like go up. Like, man, me and him trained together for years. We had some pretty fun moments of hitting the weights back and forth and pushing each other pretty hard. So it's like, he's definitely like, I feel comforted whenever he's like spotting me and we're there. And like in the moment, I know like he'll make the right judgment call. Like it's actually the 8-10 day, dude. Like I think it was just the nerves, but I did my final like squat before that and it wasn't feeling good. I was like, man, I don't know. Like I really like, you don't want to miss going into the meet. And the week before, so 2 weeks before, it was a deload week. And I was starting to get kind of beat down again. So I just like kind of basically like I trained still, but I just did like accessory. I didn't even squat at all. And that used to work for me whenever like when I didn't lift as much but it's like, cause it like feels good, like kind of like let your body heal up, but it's like so 0 to like literally 800 that it's like, it's too much of a gap that you're like detrained really quickly from it. And it makes that load like insane. And so I came off that deload. I was supposed to do a 780 for a double. And, like just like 3 weeks prior, I did 776 for a double and I smoked it. But it was like coming off that deload, like it felt so heavy and I got a little out of position. I missed the second rep and I have not missed a squat this whole year. Like it's been going so good. And then like, this is not when you want to miss, like in the crunch time of this final. And so it's like, I missed that one and dude, it kind of, I mean, like I knew why, like I knew the positionally why I got off and I knew that it was like the deload and it felt heavy and like I knew all the reasons, but it's still like, you don't want to miss, you know? And so it kind of had me in my head. And then the following week was that 810. And so I really didn't want to miss that, you know, that would have totally shot my confidence going into this. So I was like, I cannot miss this, man. And like, so like, but like Marcus was like, yeah, we're doing it. We're here. So
yeah.
Like,
well, it's crazy though. Cause like it, and I think this is probably contributes to it, but when you have somebody, I know even from you and I lifting back when we were really like trying to push weight a lot was like, I don't want to have to think about who's behind me. You know, whatever the thing is, like, I don't want to have to think about it. I just want to know that I'm good. You know what I mean? And if it's somebody that I trust and somebody that I know, they know what they're doing. They know me. They know like those are like, that is the stuff that makes it really, really easy.
You know what I'm jealous of? It's not the fact that you can squat 800 pounds. It's how easily you could probably squat 405 because I can't do that shit that easily, but it's like, that would be cool to just be like, yeah, throw 405 on. I'm just going to we'll do a few of those. Yeah, exactly. I'm jealous of that.
This is the real question here is, and it better be, or else I'm going to have my feelings hurt even more. But would you say across all lifts that you do that doing an 810 squat for each category of or each lift that is the most impressive lift you have?
Yeah, that's what I'm going all in on the squat right now. Yeah, like my attention has been all on that because to me the squat, it's just. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like, it's the scariest. It's like, it's the most to me, it's the most respectable to get crushed and try to stand back up with it. Like,
I think this will be fun. We'll go through each of our most impressive lists. So you've got an 810 squat. Kevin's going to tell us about how he did Bulgarian split squats with like 65s.
Dude, I did do Bulgarian split squats. I did 8 of them with a 150, one 150 pound dumbbell.
Do you think that's your most impressive lift of all time?
I don't think so. Let me think about it. You go first and then I'll.
Mine would be from college. Kevin was spotting me. This is my when anytime like an impressive lift thing comes up, it's no 810 squat. But was seated military press 315 for 5.
Yeah, that's solid, man.
Yeah. For a set of 5. I don't remember the second rep. At all.
You got a set of front delts on you. That's for sure.
Yeah. Set of 315, set of 5.
Yeah, that's strong.
Yeah. But then I saw Thomas Rainey, shout out Thomas Rainey, guy in Springfield who weighs probably 195 pounds, no spotter, nothing, 315 military press, just looking like he was doing, like, I think I watched him do like a set of 10 with no spotter and it just moved. It just like no deviation in speed the whole time. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. See you later, everybody.
He's the dude that is genuinely natural, but you're like, there's so many people doubt it kind of deal.
And just because his physique's incredible, but it's just like, he is so strong. It's just like, how the fuck are you this strong?
Freak of nature.
Yeah. You thought of something?
I probably wouldn't be good in a meet, but I think my 455 squat in college, I think was pretty good.
A lot of weight.
I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
So
solid, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we're talking to a guy that just squatted 800 pounds. So like, I feel a whole lot less cool about it.
The funny thing is I asked this because I figured yours was going to be a squat and I knew it was going to be like half. And I was like, at least mine's a military press. It's the total opposite end of the body.
Hey.
Yeah, Kevin doesn't know what it's like for us guys out there. Yeah, it's too bad. But for real though, holding 315 pounds above my head, like, I literally feel like it took years off of my life. So I cannot understand how
I am reducing mine for sure.
Yeah.
This has been a ride, man. I'm looking forward to the downtime after.
At least
sure.
But you're doing a good job. I feel like, obviously, I mean, like, you know, we talked for almost 2 hours just alone on just like recovery and things that you're doing to take care of yourself. So
yeah, that's everything, man. Like I said, I wouldn't be finishing through this thing without it. I mean, I've been dealing with a lot of stuff, but like we're getting me through it. So it's inevitable. You lift a lot of weight, it's gonna hurt. I mean, it's just what happens.
Yeah,
but,
I know it from talking to Preston how beat up like you get after a meet, like all of the prep and then just the meet itself. Even though you're spending some downtime or like, you know, lighter days like leading up to the meet itself, you know, it's, I mean, obviously, you know, if you don't include warm-ups, but it's like you're only doing a total of 9 lifts if you're doing squat, bench, and deadlift. So
yeah, it's crazy to think how beat up you are after from doing that.
Just 9 reps.
It's a hard day for sure.
I do when I'm doing curls, I do 10. So, you know,
without even stopping.
Yeah. That's great. Well, we are at about 2 hours. So, man, that flew by.
Yeah. My mind is way more blown than I would have expected.
No,
I expected this to be interesting, but like it's, I mentioned this earlier, but the like letting you work on me and like getting to like experience that was really cool to be able to like actually feel the differences. Hearing it explained, which like where I talked about, you know, making jokes of like, you're working on my abs to, you know, it's like, hey, I'm going to work on your feet now and you're working on my abs, or hey, I'm going to work on your glutes and back of my head kind of deal. I don't know if those are right, but it's hearing it explained, like when you explain it surface level, it does sound like voodoo magic of like, we're doing this to, you know, to fix this. But like Thomas says, like everything is connected, and hearing you explain how like all the compensating that your body can be doing is like, okay, this is legitimate. So, it was really, really cool to hear it kind of all more thoroughly, like explained on.
You wish you could do that with everybody that you work on so they can really understand it. It's like, you only have so much time. So you got to like rush through. This is what it is, but we're going to work through it. And it's like, people, like so many people leave and they have no like idea like what it really is. You know, it's
what's
hard.
happening.
And even like a lot of my clients that come all the time, they said like they'll refer people. They're like, I really don't know how to explain it. But
it's working.
You gotta try it.
It's like magic.
It's pretty wild,
dude. Super cool to have you on, man. I think Kevin was alluding to, there was like, you know, you've done an 800-pound squat, and that was like in a mean this in a very positive way, but that was like the second most interesting thing we talked about, and that's crazy. Like those are two very cool things, you know what I mean? So, man, I just really appreciate like all the things that you've done to support us and try it over the years, and you know, obviously we're big fans of you guys and everybody over at Trinity and everything you guys do. It's an incredible place, a highly recommended gym that I know we send tons of people to. It has got such a cool, unique vibe to it that's just like nothing else. And it's one of those things too. If you've never been to Trinity, it's an incredible place because it blends such a cool aspect of you can go in there and power lift, or you can go in there and bodybuild. But it is, and I'm probably preaching to the choir here too, but I think it's a super underrated rehab gym because you have so many different unique machines and different things in there that allow you to really target specific muscle groups, work on different things. And so it is something that like on the surface level, looking at it, you could look at the vibe and be like, okay, this is what it is. But it's like
old school clanging and banging.
Yeah. But there's so much more depth to it than that too. And I think that's like such a cool aspect. And with all the recovery stuff that you guys have going on, it literally is like a place that somebody needing to like recover or rehab or like work on something, some like ailments. It's like, that's a perfect place to go. And it's like, wouldn't be exactly what you expect, but in a cool way, you know? And so
I appreciate it.
But seriously, man, just appreciate everything that you guys do, and all the unique stuff that you guys bring, and again, all the support over the years, and all the support we have for you guys. It's just been really cool to get to know everybody, and watch you guys grow, and fill every single millimeter of gym with equipment that you can.
We're not done yet. So always adding more, man.
That's right.
Actually, we're going to pick up a couple machines here in the next couple weeks.
That's always one of the things I really liked about going to Trinity was getting to, like, every time I'd go, it's be like a new piece rotated in the mix. It's like getting to try new stuff.
Yeah. So what was kind of cool, like while we were doing that, like the whole process is like, it's never complete, so it's like we're always building, and it's like over time, we just find these things here and there. But a lot of times we'll like buy multiple pieces that like we inevitably know we're going to like sell those things to like pay for this. But it's like, why not just throw it in the gym? People can use it for a bit. It's like, it just kind of like.
That's how I've explained it. Is it's like, it's almost like it's just, you guys are, buying and selling equipment and fixing up and trading and like finding pieces for good deals and selling it for more and profiting that way. And it's like, you just get keys to their warehouse to use all the equipment that they're storing.
Yeah. So. It's been wild, man. We've traveled all over. The crazier the stuff I could find, the better. I like if it's like something weird, I definitely want it. Like, and we're always looking for the next cool thing. So I'm always sending Mark's Facebook posts like, and it's like, dude, we can't get that. No, come on, man. But it's like, we don't have that one yet,
Yeah.
But I like all the little weird, like even like just like little things like we have like the forearm machine or like the little bar thing that holds like your curl bar, like just like the little, like, I don't know. Like, I just like that. Like the little like stuff that like all the little things that people don't have is like, I like that stuff, but
you guys got everything.
Yeah. That's the, Yeah. And like the idea is too, kind of like it's like we try to get multiple pieces of everything everything fits somebody, like, and like peak at, like, it's like, unless you just wanted to specifically use that leg press, you could use one of the other 5. Like, it's like there's so many options, like everything I think like everything we have, there's 4 or 5 options of like different types, or you just change up your workouts to use different, like they all are a little bit different. Everything's handpicked for like,
you're not stuck to the exact same machines for every time you're doing a leg day.
Yeah. It's like, people don't even realize like these machines are like some of the best stuff. Like they just see like old stuff,
Right.
But like these, like it's handpicked for like these pieces are like some of the best that were made. And so
it's super cool because I feel like you can go in there and be like, okay, this machine is for this head of my tricep. This machine is for this head of my tricep. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to work my way down the line.
Yeah.
Like,
You wouldn't even believe like people don't really understand that there's like rarity in gym equipment. It's like collecting like old cars, it's like, some of the pieces we have are like I don't know if you guys use that white squat machine that's like it's like
totally vertical.
Yeah.
I love that thing.
That is actually a prototype from Icarian, like back in like the 1970s. And from what I heard, there was only 3 of them ever made. And I forgot who it was. But there's like a video of back at the original Gold's Gym of a white one being used by like someone prepping for the Olympia. I forgot who it was, but like a big name. And like I said, there was only like 3 of them ever made that are known. And I've only ever seen 2, one other, and it was blue. So I don't know, like this one was
could have been
right.
It's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah. So anyway, like I think that was it.
That's so cool.
But yeah, you wouldn't like, people just see this stuff. They have no idea, like same kind of thing, like the therapy, like you don't really know the depth of like, the equipment and how rare, like, like the big yellow squat machine, it's like,
I knew that got a lot of you just having that. I knew people wanting to go check the gym out just because you guys had
that was a big part. Like so there were 600 of those ever made and there's probably way far less than that even in existence. But the reason is like, it was kind of a liability that people realize you had to smoke your legs and you got to climb down it. And then it's just so big, but anyway, we have actually one of the lowest known serial numbers among the collect. It's just like random stuff like that. It's like cool to know, but we have like ours is like 128 or something. And like, I think there might be one person that's known that has a lower one than us.
I've only never seen another one in person. I've only ever seen one other one on social media, once.
Yeah. Yeah. People are always talking trash about it because they're like, what is this thing? It's so stupid. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what I want.
Yeah. Talking about it.
People, they don't like it gets used, but it's like it'll go a while and then like one of us will use it and the next thing you'll see people using it all week at the gym. It's like people are a little intimidated to climb up there.
It's one of those things where I feel like you're looking at it and you're like, this belongs on a playground. This is a jungle gym.
I think it was nicknamed, at least from the Triad, like Norman employees, they called it the Treehouse.
Yeah, the Treehouse. Okay. Yeah. So the nickname is the Legosaurus or
that makes sense.
I can't remember what, but yeah.
It looks like a transformer.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But yeah, there's a lot of those pieces, man. Like we have stuff that are like one-offs and just handfuls of that you wouldn't even know, you know.
I knew that the white squat, like the Icarian prototype that you were talking about too. I love that one. That one was super cool. I did not know that thing existed before you guys got it. But I didn't
either. I just saw it. I was like, yep, that's that. I've never seen that, so we need it.
And then kind of learn more of the history about it. That's I think it was AJ Sims, who's also been on the podcast. Apparently, I can't remember if I heard directly from him.
He was trying to get it too.
I think he was jealous that you guys got it, but like at least it's in town and he can go use it.
He did message me after I forgot it. Yeah, man, it's like a race to get this stuff. But the thing is a lot of it, like people don't even like, it's just old and they just want to get rid of it. Like, you would not believe like the deals we've gotten on some of this stuff just because it's just old junk to them, you know, they don't even know, but
think you're going to go scrap it.
Yeah. And like have you used the shoulder machine that like, it's like seated, you like face it has like I
use it every time I do shoulders.
So that's another one that's like super rare. The only other one I've seen was at the Powerhouse gym, like the like Bev Francis Powerhouse gym. And, that one was also a very early on Icarian, and it's the precursor to the stand-up one that everybody likes.
Yeah, those have gotten a lot more popular, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah. So that was the original to that. That was the first, and so
using that thing, I didn't know the history before now, but it was every time I use that thing, I was like, I feel like this one was like the first version of what a lot of people have now. So,
but that was out in Lawton. This guy had this big warehouse, and he was trying to sell the stuff, and then he was just going to scrap whatever he didn't sell.
Whoa.
And so that was one of the pieces we got out of there. But yeah, it's like, that's the cool thing. Like every piece we have, like I could literally tell you the story and the history of like every piece. It's so unique rather than just like calling up this company and just like, hey, let me get all hammer strength stuff or, you know, like whatever. It's like we individually pick these things out.
For somebody who has a passion for it too, it's, you know, you're the guy saving the, 72 Ferrari with 150 miles out of somene's barn. That's just going to just deteriorate to nothing eventually.
Yeah,
or get scrapped. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. There's the leverage, the chest presses. Have you guys used those? The white ones. So we like it's always like been in my mind. Like a lot of these pieces, like the super rare ones. I've always thought like, man, this is just like rotting away in someone's garage, like somewhere near us, you know. And actually also in Lawton, we bought a storage unit. And Marcus can tell you guys how much I like nerd out about this stuff, but like I just look at this stuff so much. Like I know, and you should have seen this garage. Like, I mean, it was like literally piled on top. You couldn't make heads or tails of anything, but I'm like, look, and it was terrible pictures. I'm like zooming in. I was like, dude, I can tell you 100% sure that's the flat chest press. Yeah. That's the decline. That's the incline. Like we have to get, like, I could just tell, that's like, so and you couldn't even make heads or, I mean, you should have seen, I wish I had the picture of it, but anyway, like we ended up buying the unit for like $2,000 and it had like 10, 15 machines in there, a bunch of random stuff, but it was exactly what I said. It was those 3 machines. And, we ended up sold like half of them, paid for the unit, bought several other machines, and then, ended up years later, this guy was begging me to sell the decline. And I really didn't want to sell it because the decline was like one of like 10, super rare as well.
I miss that machine.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. And I hate it. And especially from a collector, I didn't want to like lose it. But this guy, he ended up he offered us the Arsenal pendulum squat, that Cybex leg press, and then gave us like $4,000. And he drove from South Carolina to do the whole deal. So we're like, if you really break it down, we paid like $150 for that piece. Yeah, like it made sense. Like it for like again, like people don't even really know the historical value, but like everybody wants a pendulum squat. So we were like, it makes sense. Like just and so, but
good for the gym and I was really like I was sad when you guys did sell that thing, because it was like, man, I do really like this a lot. Like nowhere else has. Like anytime like I try and do like a decline like bench on a machine, it just doesn't hit quite right. And but that thing was awesome.
It was, man.
And but I was sad when you guys lost it, but I was also like, okay, but I have used it a lot. Like I got my time with it.
That was hard to go. But it made sense.
It is funny though how like when you start to like really pay attention and you find something you're really into. I remember I not nearly into it as much as I used to be, not even close, but like for a while there, like I was really collecting whiskey for like a long time and like really getting into the kind of the weeds with it a bunch. And I remember we were somewhere, I forget where it was, but there was like, they had like 400 bottles of whiskey, but the way that it was like set up or the angle that we were at, all you could see was like barely a clip of the top of each like lid of the bottle. And we were like messing around. This was years ago. And we were sitting there and I was like, both of us, we were like going back and naming each one of the bottles, like which one they were, but you could see a centimeter of the top of the lid. And you're like, no, I know what that one is. That's this. And it's like, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Those machines, if you look at them, they do have like the leverage machines all have like a sip. Like if you look from the back end, the leverage mechanic of it all looks the same. So it's like, I knew that, but it looked just like, the frame of it. I was like, dude, that is exactly those three. And it was funny.
Was it a super sought after item at the moment that you bought?
Those leverage pieces are like, that's like holy grail of like, that everybody wants those ones. So
jeez.
It was just pretty, and it had been sitting on Facebook Market for like months. I just happened to come across it.
You're the only one that saw it.
Yeah, dude. Like Marcus will tell you, man. Like I got a weird knack for finding this stuff, man. Like
we know we've been to the gym.
Man. We're always looking. We haven't brought in as much. Like I've been focusing on all this prep and stuff, but yeah, we're getting ready to make some more moves. So
nice.
We'll be bringing in some more pieces for sure.
We'll love it, man. Well, boys, we're definitely over 2 hours now. So, well, dude, again, this was awesome, man. Do we know what episode this was?
75.
75. Yeah. Dang, that's crazy.
And
that's the weight you used for Bulgarian split squats, right? On your most impressive lift.
Yeah. That's my deadlift.
Yeah. Well, dude, again, thank you so much for coming. This was a blast. I really enjoyed getting to talk to you tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
And for anybody, obviously, if you haven't checked out Trinity, like definitely go check out Trinity. You guys are, I'm sure on Apple and Google Maps. Yeah. For anybody that's interested in any of the recovery elements that we talked about today, what's the best way to reach out to you?
If you want to just reach out on our social media, that's usually best. We have a therapy page, M1 Reflexive Therapy, and then like our Trinity Strength Gym page, either one of those, or my personal ones, M1 Superman Powerlifting. So you just DM me there and we can get you set up.
Yeah. And I would highly recommend trying it out, because that was a very interesting experience, and I should honestly do it on a regular basis.
I'm like been sitting here this whole time thinking about like my back's been flaring up again, and I'm like, dude, I'm setting
my
some
trigger.
I need to, man. I need to go.
Yeah. Well, cool. Anything else you'd like to share, man?
I think we covered it. Yeah.
Covered everything.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, sweet. Episode 75.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Appreciate it, everybody.